Cancer, the moon is in Scorpio and she's asking you to look deep and discover what are some blockages that are impeding you from achieving your goals. Stay tuned to find out how to work with these energies. But before we get into that, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just the greatest, Cancer, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome to the Chariot Friends. Justin here, and know that whenever you come across this video, you are synced up with the moon. Welcome to the Soul Tribe. And for those of you who are new, this is a channel for those of you who have Cancer in your placement. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mars, wherever Cancer, this one's for you. And I do tarot cards with base of our really hit the good old moon. I actually just saw her not too long ago. What was it? It was like the other day. It was really actually fantastic. I haven't seen her in a while. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, when she's going to avoid, of course, just all of those lunar shenanigans. And just so y'all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what resonates with you. Leave the rest with me. Never force a reading on a situation, and everything will be dope, Cancer. Now, let's jump into it. You know, I was thinking, for those of you who are listening, when I do that little pause, it's like, did he freeze? What happened? Did the Wi-Fi go out? No, everything's fine. And also, Cancer, your space... Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. Space has been cleansed. Crystals, feeling lovely. Just great energy all around here, Cancer. And Cancer, happy Moon Day. Our lovely guardian, the moon, is associated with Mondays. And this is a great day for really kind of tuning into your emotions, seeing how you're feeling. Are there any things that have been coming up for you? How have you been nurturing yourself? You know, this is a day to kind of take it easy, be in the home front, if that's something available for you. I know we all sometimes may have jobs to go to, but at some point today, make sure to do little emotional check-ins throughout the day. And if you do find yourself going through a surge or something, this can be, you know, just finding some maybe practical tools or some helpful tools to help you feel through these and work through these emotions if that's something that you find yourself struggling with. So this is just a real kind of great day to just kind of maybe tend to the home space, maybe do some cleaning, some sweeping, some cooking, some, you know, whatever that's looking like for you. This could be a great time if this is available to you. Maybe giving a visit with mom or talking with mom, you know, the moon, or even any sort of like feminine energy. You know, the moon is associated with that. So this would be a great time to get in that feminine energy, to be involved around that. So really lovely energy when we're dealing with moon days. But also too, Cancer, big one, we have the sun that's moving into Gemini. And he's going to be moving there at 5:59 a.m. and that's going to be Pacific time. And when the sun is changing into the signs, now we're taking on a new fresh energy here. And when we're moving into Gemini, the mind comes alive. The intellect starts to really just starts to get going. You know, when you can think about Gemini as a kid, when you think about children in their... And that's why I think they get along so well. When you think about Gemini, they form harmonious aspects with Aries and Leo, who are both, for me, very kind of, they all three embody this childlike quality very, very much so. But Gemini, you can think about it as when a child is just getting out into like, just learning how to speak and just like observing things. What is this? What's that? Hey, what's this? You know, like, and then just practicing, talking with strangers, you know, just getting out there. I know my moon signs in Gemini. And I mean, I still am very talkative, but I was especially very talkative as a kid. We'd be standing in line. I just start talking to people. My mom turned her back for 1 second. Someone would start talking with her. It was so interesting. People would just come to her. I think it may have been the Pisces moon. I don't have her time of birth, so I don't know her rising sign, but people would come to talk to her, and I would be talking with just other people. So it was always, and she has a Gemini sun, but it was always very fascinating. When you're getting into Gemini, it's always about this socializing. And that's something you may notice too. You may feel a bit more social, more talkative, more gregarious, just wanting to get out there and just exchange information. I will say with Gemini energy, because we're getting ready to get into a big, over these next over these next like 5 days, we have a lot of planets that are moving into Gemini. The sun being the first, and Venus is going to be moving a few days later. Then Big Papa's going to be moving in there. So with all this Gemini energy that we're going to get into, there's a lot of air that's going around, and you want to be mindful of being overstretched with Gemini. Gemini energy is one that wants to know all of the things, wants to do all of the details. Like, let's know, like, it's like it, where I'm thinking about their opposite, Sagittarius, where Sagittarius just goes on faith and wants to, just needs the big picture. It's just the idea of expansion. Gemini is like, okay, I'm with expansion, but what are the steps to get to that? So I just say, be mindful of just like how much information you're consuming. Give your brain some space to process this stuff. And I just don't mean from like studying, or like this is just from watching things, from reading things, make sure to give your brain a break, to just maybe get outside and just take in some fresh air. Gemini is, I'm just thinking about, even though they're not like, I don't think they're associated with the lungs. I have to double check with that. But I'm thinking about that duality, and I'm just thinking about how the lungs can be just taking in that fresh air when you're getting ready to speak, taking in that first breath before you're getting ready to get the sentence out there. So this could be, I just feel, a time to just make sure to take some breaks in between, but a time to be curious as well. See where you can expand your knowledge. Maybe you're wanting to learn how to cook that recipe. Maybe you want to start baking, or start sauteing, or I don't know if you need a teaching for that. I don't think you do. It's fine. But maybe whatever. But whatever you're trying. Maybe you want to learn about crystals. But we're going to move on. Whatever you're trying to do, just be mindful that, I would say too, journaling, writing stuff down is an important thing for Gemini energy, because as quick as stuff can come in, it can just as easily fly out. So if you find yourself feeling really prolific too, write that stuff down. You may not be able to tackle it all at once, but at least if you have it down, you can get a checklist so that things don't get lost in that storm that is Gemini. So just something to be mindful of there, Cancer. But I really like this combination over the next couple of days with this, because where the moon's going to be at, let's talk about our guardian, because the moon is going to be entering into Scorpio at 3:34 p.m. and she is in a waxing gibbous phase. And as we get closer to this full moon that's coming up on the 23rd, this is going to be, like, the 23rd is going to be a lit day. There's a lot of really beautiful energies that are going to be going on. And I feel that this can be a time especially with the sun just entering Gemini and the moon just entering into Scorpio, pay attention to, how interesting. Hold on, Cancer. Absolutely. Oh yeah, we're going to get into this. Thank you, higher self. But pay attention to what things come up for you, what emotions come up for you as the sun enters into Gemini. Be very observant over these next couple of days, because Gemini isn't just about communication. Gemini at its very basic stage, and I like how Stephen Forrest described this, is about perception. Before the thought is even formed, before words are even put into it. It's what you see. It's your immediate environment, what you're seeing, what you're hearing, what you're touching before you have, it's just the stimuli, the connection that's coming in. And so I feel this can be a powerful time of observation, because Scorpio is one that is very observant. They're the ones that are going to get down to the truth of things. One of their guardians is Pluto. And I feel this can be, for some, if you've been having any sort of like difficult emotions that you've been working through, this can be where maybe we can have a conversation with a friend. Maybe we can, and with Gemini is a lighter energy. Scorpio can tend to be, I feel, a little heavy for Gemini. But what I like about Gemini is that it does have that, it can bring that lightness to maybe some serious things. It's not like we're taking away from it, but we're making it more approachable, if that makes sense. So I feel like this could be something where we could talk with maybe a friend. This could be where we can maybe, even if you happen to be in therapy or something, this could be a great day if you've been struggling with some things, or maybe looking to get it's not like a forcing type of thing, but if something comes up, if you happen to have like a breakthrough or something, if you can schedule like a call, or like maybe something through Zoom, you can really kind of feel like some real rich nuggets could come through with this. But this could also be too, like I was saying, with journaling over these next couple of days, seeing what may come up for you, and because Scorpio too is a very powerful sign, and when we find out things that have been driving us from behind the scenes, from the subconscious, from the unconscious side of ourselves, then they no longer have power over us if we let them. It's unconscious because we're not aware of it. But now, as you know, because I feel that the ego doesn't give us more than we're ready for. But then when this thing comes up, it gives us a chance to find the power in that. But this to me, just I feel really can be, this can be one too. I almost feel like it can be one where, because Gemini can deal with like it's not quite friendships like with Libra, or partnerships, or like with Aquarius. Gemini is like your neighbors, the person you see at the store, the people the people who you see on your walk, the people or that you happen to see, that you see on like a regular acquaintances. And this could be not necessarily turning them into friends or something more, but maybe even being a bit more present with them. Maybe if if you've gotten a certain robotic routine or something, there's power in community. And that's where I feel like Gemini I feel like it can get into that realm when we're talking about the neighborhoods and things in your close environment. And I just feel like could be, if you've been wanting to deepen yourself, and it's getting a little bit into Aquarius, but I feel like more so with like your immediate surroundings. Do you know your neighbors that well? And just making more of a point to maybe say hi to that person if you happen to just walk past them, or just little things along those lines to make these more impersonal, and just where it makes sense. Again, these don't feel like we're forcing things, but I remember when I used to walk in Florida all the time, there was someone who happened to stop me. I would see her walking too, and we just happened to stop, and she asked me all these questions. She's like, "Oh, are you such and such?" I was like, "Oh no, that's someone who lives like right next to me." And it's like, "Oh my gosh, I thought you were the one that had these kids," and we were trying to figure out if you had one kid, two kid, and it was a whole thing. But this is the type of stuff that I mean. Like it can be really neat when you have that deeper connection. When you have that, like, oh, there's that one person, there's a store person, and I'm sure at the opposite end, they're like, oh, there's that milk carton person, or there's whatever you happen to be, like whatever that relationship is. And I feel like there can be even like an appreciation over these next couple of days for that type of stuff. So play around with this energy as that makes sense for you there, Cancer. And last little thing with this, I do feel on a more kind of like path, if you're trying to make some progress, some sort of personal progress somewhere, maybe you're trying to get to some sort of goal, this could be if you're finding yourself with any sort of like blockages, or feeling that there's some sort of doubts or something maybe that's going on there. Again, this can be a time to find out the truth behind what's going down, or even understanding what's motivating the actions behind what you do. Because Scorpio, I will say, like a lot of energies, but Scorpio in particular, Scorpio is one that it's got an attraction to it. It's a very raw power when you're talking with Scorpio. And there's this thing of, what I'm kind of getting is just understanding what is fueling your desires. Why are you doing towards this thing? And not in a scrutinizing type of way, but understanding what the drive is, and maybe if something has been skewing that a little bit, and how we can get it more on course, if that's something that's resonating with you. So just a way, I feel like, as we're shedding more light and getting towards this full moon energy that's coming up, because again, I'm really excited to talk about the full moon. This, I feel, is really nice. There's some big changes that are coming up, and I feel this can be, but we'll get more into that. But over these next couple of days, I feel really take it upon yourself to bring about some loveliness, to spread just some high vibrational stuff around, because it is. I feel like this week is just a really supportive and just kind of beautiful energy that's going on this week, that we can just kind of, on even we don't even, I mean, it could be world changing, but just spreading kindness around, like I'm just seeing, I was getting on the bus. I saw someone taking something off the bus, or something. Someone was trying to get something off, and I was getting ready to get up, but this other person got up right before me and was getting it. Just like those little acts and things, like, can go a really long way. And I feel like when we treat each other more like comrades on this journey as opposed to enemies or strangers, it really changes the whole experience. But then also we have the moon. That's good. The moon will be going void, of course, when I'm talking about the 23rd, on the 23rd, which is a Jupiter day. She'll be going void of course at about 12:27 a.m. and will be void of course until 1:24 a.m. So a bit of a short one that's going to be happening. More of one for most of us will probably be sleeping. So what I like to advise, especially with and let me tell you what first before I get ahead of myself, with the void of course. The void, of course, it happens when the moon forms her final aspect with a celestial body. And then I like how they describe it as called a canadromia, of her roaming the void. And that's where I like to think of it as it's the time when whatever happened during this energy over this while the moon was in a certain sign, that energy is starting to crystallize. It's starting to become a memory. What do we take from this, and what's going on into the next chapter, as we get into a new type of scene. So, and the aspect that she's forming, which I always find really nice, is she's forming a trine with Neptune. And this is what these trines that are happening with Neptune, these aspects that are happening when she does them with Neptune, this is going to be that kind of final time that she'll be in, like that this void, of course, will have that theme with Neptune in it. And I bring that up to say is that Neptune deals with like that dream space. And when the moon and Neptune are in conversation with each other, especially I feel like when it's in that void, of course, granted it's a short one, I do feel that it does give you almost like a window into the void, into a sense, into that higher mind, into that side of you that gets ideas, that gets inspiration, that gets motivated, that gets this. And so I feel what I like to say when the void, of course, has that Neptune flavor, to make sure that we're just getting enough rest, going to sleep on time, just and allow that dream space, setting up a nice environment for that, maybe like however many, maybe 10, 15, if you can, like maybe half an hour before, just kind of remove yourself, like have your social media all checked, plug in your phone, start doing your wind down type of things, and just kind of allow yourself to drift into that nice type of space there. But if you do happen to be up, I would say that during this time, I feel this can be a time just to set aside a moment to just breathe, to just kind of go within, to find out what's going on. Maybe you just happen to be up just because of the time difference. But if you just happen to be up, maybe you can't get into any sleep, or maybe just happen to get off late or something like that. Just taking a bit and just kind of being in that resonance, just a deep breath, I feel can really just kind of help reset a little bit, because the trine energy is like an energy of flow. It can be a time of new beginnings when we're thinking with that trine energy. And I feel a new beginning is just when we're feeling that optimistic, or we're feeling that optimistic. Well, yeah, when we're feeling that optimistic and feeling the enthusiasm to pursue life, and give ourselves the permission to dream, to think that anything is possible, that our ideas are not crazy, So that's why I feel like this flow with Neptune can be a really nice one going into this next energy, because we're moving from Scorpio into Sagittarius. So yeah, just pay attention to this. This can be where Scorpio can normally be in intense energy, and I won't deny maybe something intense may come up for you, but it's so cathartic, I feel, after it comes up, and you realize like, oh, now this has where this thing wasn't doing this just to keep me down. It was doing this to build me up. Like this was showing me like, hey, that thing no longer. It's like when you think of a kid, just going back to that kid theme. it can be the shadows in the room can seem scary. The Gemini is a very imaginative energy. The imagination can run wild. Things can seem scarier than they actually appear, and I feel like that kind of plays in nicely to that duality as well. When we're thinking about Scorpio, was this stuff intense? Sure, but was it also insightful? Absolutely. So might be something to think about there. And if you're curious about how these energies and want to work more intimately with these energies in your chart, kind of see how you can flow with this a bit, not even a bit more, even a lot more, but something as simple as just tuning up with the lunar cycles can do really just kind of wonders. But book a reading with me. I have links down in the description box below with the service that I offer. I do astrological chart readings. We can go over natal chart readings, discuss the tools that you came into, the map that is you, the galaxy that is you. It's always exciting when you see I like to think about it when the chart comes up. It's just like a snapshot of what the galaxy was doing or what the planets were doing when you were born, and it's really fascinating how they tend to express themselves. Or a way we work with this stuff is just observing how the planets traverse through your houses, because that shows you the theme that's coming up. When the moon's going through Scorpio, she's coming into my fourth house, and so now we're getting into that introspective space. She forms a conjunction with my Pluto placement. My Pluto's at 17 degrees, and so it's a mixed bag with Scorpio. I stay on guard in Scorpio, but it is more of a quieter time. It is a time where I do try to make sure to just allow myself the space to feel whatever may come up and whatever that means. And actually in my lunar return, I'm in I have a lot of eighth house stuff going on right now, and there is a lot of change that is happened and is happening. So it's that's the beauty of it. It's I knew that this was coming. I could, even though there's still some things that are just it still was just I look at my lunar turn, it's just right, but you remember when you looked that out, when this first started, you knew this was coming. So it's just here it is. So what we gonna do about it? And it just helps you get into that, so you can get a little more anticipatory. It's not necessarily a stuff happening to you. It's just I'm in this energy. What do I want to get done with it? What matters to me? What values? How do I want to change? It gets you asking yourself these deeper types of questions. So, yeah, if that's something that resonates with you, if you're curious about that, definitely look at my YouTube. Go down to my description box. Look at the description box too, because there's a link down for that, and also on my Instagram page as well. Let's go ahead and get into this general energy of the day, Cancer, because there's a lot of Scorpio energy here. We're going deeper, Cancer. You have the new moon in Scorpio card here, and if it's just a card of going deeper. And so with Scorpio, Scorpio is, and here's the thing. Where Scorpio is very intense, sure, Scorpio is also very loving. I feel we don't want to forget that. Scorpios are very strong. They are ones that do... It takes a lot to, I feel those types of things, how long am I gonna, how much time do I have to get to what I want to get done? Scorpio faces these kind of taboo things when we're talking about death, our mortality, when we're talking about, when I was talking about all this eighth house stuff, that can deal with joint finances and things. I just got married, remarried, and that was something that I was talking about. I was something that would help me feel more secure is that we didn't do the first time was setting up some will stuff, getting those things, having those kind of conversations. Not that I'm anticipating something to happen, but just so that I'm not blindsided, that either of us are blindsided. And I feel that when we're thinking about these deeper things that can be a more of a conversation, but it's more so coming from a place of love, because you cherish something so much. And that's where I feel when it comes to Scorpio asks you, okay, yeah, knowing that you don't have, you're not even guaranteed the next 5 minutes, but we'll give you that. You know, what do you, how are we living? How are we showing up? And going deeper as to why we're not showing up the way that we're doing. And again, not doing it with the scrutinizing or like a hopelessness, but more so of an understanding, like, okay, this is the thing. Is this too, how do I harness this power? How do I find the power in whatever this is that's coming up for you? And this could be something where Scorpio is not an energy where you have to do something alone. Scorpio is about joint energies. It takes the energy of Libra and takes it to that next level. So this can be something where if you got some stuff coming up and it's too much for, maybe we're talking about Gemini, maybe it's too much for the acquaintances to hold. Maybe you're not talking about your existential crisis with the barber. But this could be where, you know, you realize that, like, maybe I do need to go deeper into this conversation. Maybe I need to find some way to get some kind of professional help. Maybe I go to some sort of group setting. Maybe I can give that a try. You know, just like exploring, growing deeper. You know, as opposed, because the negative side of Scorpio, when we're getting into, because the fixed energies are tough ones. Because when they get locked into something, it can be hard to shake that off. And when you're fixed in on an emotion, especially as a, you know, Cancerian, wherever you happen to have that placement, especially if you're, I will say in a personal planet, but especially in like your sun, moon, or rising, when a certain emotion comes up, and if it ties you out, it throws you out of control, there has to be a way to understand that and to be able to communicate. You may not know what to do with it, but to understand what's causing it, I feel, can be a very empowering thing. So it doesn't leave you, you know, you may not know what to do with it, but I feel like at least you know. Again, I hope this makes sense. It's like, so here's an example. Let's say if I did this, like my arm hurts or something like that, and it's just like, what is that? And then I go to find out what it is, and it's something where I can't ignore it, and then I go to find out, oh, hey, something's getting pinched here, we caught blah 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 blah. Now it's like, okay, I know what it is. It's not like there's something about that alleviating of that. Let's get a little bit more into this Cancer, get some details. Yeah, I'm trying to. All right, Cancer. Yourself. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, Cancer. Okay. So you have the King of Swords here, and then here we are, Cancer, the Chariot in reverse, and then, which is all right. And then you have this Cancer is abundance, because you have the Ace of Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Knight of Pentacles up right here. So I love all this abundance, but I feel in order to get to all of this abundance, for some, I feel for some there's a confusion here with the King of Swords. Maybe we're not sure. Maybe you've hit some sort of block. Maybe you've hit some sort of fogginess, I feel, with the King of Swords here. And that's Gemini energy for me with the King of Swords. And I feel that this is, like I was saying, this feels like an energy as if confusion, where it can be a frustrating time, is an invitation for you to take it slow with the Knight of Pentacles and to, again, go deeper, to figure out what isn't working, to sit down and I like kind of this Knight of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles kind of combination here. This is a slow, kind of methodical, go at your own pace. I feel like for some, this feels like that. it feels like that for some. Maybe we're maybe trying to rush, or maybe you're not sure why you can't figure out something as fast as as others possibly. But everyone's different, you know. I'm even thinking about how I'm thinking about just even with like in the zodiac, for example, how just like Mercury placements, how we think, you know. I have my Mercury's in Leo, and I do tend to think a little more kind of abstract, and I do like it's different. It's like it's leading with the heart. It's there is this creative energy that comes with it. Mine's in the 12th house too, so you throw the little spiritual aspect into it. But then I'm looking at someone else who has, like, let's say for example Mercury in Virgo, and it's like it's so different, or maybe even like a Mercury in Scorpio. It's just like it's we all go about it differently, and it's that's how it's meant to, you know. I feel like that there's this, you have to find, I feel for some it's like finding a plan that works for you here with this Knight of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles here. And but there is something with the Four of Pentacles that's like, for some others here, there's like a tapping into your reserve. Like this can be a getting an idea off the ground possibly. I feel like maybe for some it's like, that's interesting. The King of Swords is giving me like this idea that hasn't reached maturity yet. Like it's still in like the Page of Swords, maybe even like the Knight of Swords energy, but something here that could be a ticket or something, a new sort of start, but something's keeping it from going off the ground. Something's keeping you, this again, it could be fear, maybe it is resources, maybe we have to figure out some sort of something here. But I feel like you're working with a lot, whatever this may be, Cancer. And this may be, sure. You know what I like to, I sometimes what I think when we do feel a lot, when, you know, like, oh, we feel helpless, we feel this, we feel that, we feel this. Yes, that's a lot that's coming up. And but that also too is that gives you a lot to work with. But it just, I feel like it's maybe for some it's coming down to a prioritizing type of thing. Maybe some stuff is like flooding in, and maybe it's a need to kind of turn the faucet down some. Like what can you manage today even? So, and again, however this may be kind of resonating here, but I do see this as an opportunity too, because Scorpio deals with like with again with Scorpio's on that financial axis along with Taurus, and this could be just thinking with Gemini and that Gemini Scorpio combination. This could be coming up with some really cool ideas, some maybe some even some intuitive nudges. You know, maybe not understanding why you're going a certain direction here with the King of Swords and the Chariot, but trusting it, trusting as a universe presenting it as an opportunity here with the Ace of Pentacles. Take it slow with the Knight of Pentacles, however slow you need to, but I feel like it's something to work at. See where it's coming, because it feel like this Four of Pentacles is like tapping into a new type of reserves, is wanting to get something on the ground here. And it feels like that you have, you know, more resources, I feel, than maybe than you realize. Let me get a little bit more with the Four of Pentacles before we move on with this, Cancer. And this could be too, I feel, for some, if you've been feeling like a block, I feel there's a reason for something not quite holding off there. But oh, how interesting. Wow. Oh, okay, Cancer. Thank you very so. So the Four of Pentacles is clarified by the Knight of Coins here. So we got two Knight of Pentacles showing up here, Cancer, and I feel that there's something here about either for some I feel for some it's like a plan that's coming together, or need to take some time with this again, really slow, because this is Taurus energy when we're talking about the Knight of Coins. But even if it wasn't, the Knight of Coins is considered the slowest knight of the knights, and so slowest of the people. So, yeah, this feels like it getting something drafted up. This guy could even see this for some as maybe looking into as like for a financial advisor, possibly. Maybe we're wanting to get some type of things with that in order. This could be maybe working with like a dietitian, possibly. Maybe do it if that's something, because the Pentacles can deal with more than just money. This can deal with your health. Maybe this is something where maybe you have a certain attachment to a certain type of thing, possibly. And this could be where we're looking to maybe sell some type of stuff. However this may be, however this may be working out for you, Cancer. But I like that. Let's move on. Oh, and there's Gemini. How fascinating. All right, Cancer. Here's up. See what else is going on here. Alright, so you have small reverse storm here. You have the 8 of Wands, the 9 of Wands, the 2 of Swords, and then the Lovers card here, Cancer. Now with Gemini being here, and considering that the Sun just moved here, I feel there's this, that's fascinating. This 2 of Swords, Lovers energy is giving me kind of like real heavy, indecisive energy. Because the 2 of Swords, this is the Moon in Libra, and the trickiness with Libra is analysis paralysis. You know, having to see, you know, like just again, like, should I do this? Should I do that? It can go this way. What happens if it goes this? How, you know, like trying to find that perfect, that sweet spot to go for it. And life's not so cut and dry. You know, like it's not like there are times where I feel like it's there. Like I feel there are prime times to take some steps. You know, and it's very interesting. Whatever it is, if you're on the fence about something, I feel like I don't feel like there's a need to rush, but I do feel with double Knight of Pentacles here, I do feel like there's a need to get something moving, because we're sure Taurus might be a slower energy. Taurus isn't, you know, it doesn't just like sit around and bask in the sun. Taurus is like the gardener aspect, and you got to work hard as a gardener. You're very physical and very intuitive. That's that work that's happening, and I just feel that maybe for some, maybe you need to be maybe a little less mind with this Lovers, King of Swords, because you do got a lot of strong Gemini energy here, and just going deeper, maybe feeling a lot more. Maybe all this mind stuff might be having you miss out on some messages with the 8 of Wands being here. The connections aren't coming in clear. Maybe in that there might be where it's just like you kind of burnt yourself out with the 9 of Wands being in reverse. But this feels that for some, I feel like a choice is needing to be made. And if not, I feel understanding why, and if something about making peace with that why, whatever that is, you know, maybe it's just like maybe how we need to approach this, whatever this is, this blockage that I'm feeling. It's like, it's again approaching it at your own pace, finding it that makes sense, but know that it is something that is approachable, that is something that can be worked out here. You have more options, maybe even, I feel, than we're thinking, but maybe it's something where something could get lost in the. Let's get a clarifier on the Lovers here, and then we'll get some advice, Cancer. Oh, and that's one person we're gonna get advice from. All right. Take care of yourself. All right. So Cancer. So the Lovers. It's clarified by the Sun, love it. The Tower, Mars, upright, and then you have the 6 of Coins in reverse. Now, when I feel with this Cancer, that there's a change that's happening, and maybe there's a situation. I feel it as maybe for some it's like you have a decision that's maybe needing to be made, a change that's happening. Maybe you haven't been. It feels that if you have something that's maybe a change, a decision that's maybe needing to be had, because I feel the Six of Coins is not wanting to give energy towards something, even though it's like the sun. It's not necessarily the sun is a happy card. The sun does brighten a reading up. It always does that, reverse or otherwise. But I feel the sun here is maybe it's not, it's giving me not quite so happy, but just like I feel there's something here that can't be ignored. The sun is shining a light on it clear as day. And when the sun's in Gemini, the sun notices things. The sun sees that stuff. You know, like it's because the thing that I find too with Scorpio and Gemini is very fascinating. Is just Gemini. You know, Gemini is about those nuances, you know, the facial expressions, the tics, the little things. And there's just something here, just like, I don't know, like giving a situation more attention here with the Six of Coins for some. You know, maybe there's a change that's needing, maybe a conversation that's needing to be had. Maybe there's a breakup, possibly with the lovers, that's needing to be had, or maybe there's, and not, you know, this again, just like take this however this resonates, but it just feels like it's like we're dragging our feet on something here, Cancer. And this is like understanding why that is. It's like this, if you don't go deeper, Cancer, and this is not to get you worried, but it's more so then I find that these things that we keep bottled up or that we keep festered or something, they do tend to come out with the Tower. Especially when the Tower's upright, I feel this can be where it feels that things are happening to us as opposed to things happening for us with the Tower. Because I even feel with the Tower upright, it doesn't have to be a negative thing. There are times where Tower reverse, we're taking actions, and how I feel this Tower is like how, okay, maybe something that wasn't ideal that like kind of forced your hand maybe to make some sort of decision here. And very interesting, Cancer. I also feel that there's something here about a decision maybe of, because when you're thinking about the Six of Coins here, this is a card of reciprocity, and I'm getting something here like maybe you haven't given enough maybe for yourself, or maybe we haven't been supportive in either in like a choice that you've been wanting to make or making more choices for you, or maybe even on the flip side, maybe you've been not seeing that someone else wants to make some sort of choice or something here, Cancer. I just feel like there's this a receptivity that's coming here with the Six of Coins, making sure that that's interesting. But let's get some advice from Pluto and Mars here, Cancer. This is a quite an energy here. Oh, oh, all right, but an abundant one. Oh, and there's interesting, Cancer. All right. Ooh, take care of yourself. Last little bit here, Cancer. So you have the Queen of Pentacles and the Hierophant, Taurus energy, in reverse, and then you have the Three of Pentacles upright. Now let's switch back, Cancer, because I feel with the Three of Pentacles here, if you're not sure on a decision, or Or I almost feel like if you've reached some sort of point, because the Hierophant for me can almost be like this card of initiation, you know, that process of going through, because the Pope is depicted in the Hierophant, and I'm just even thinking about that process to become the Pope, you know, when you're going to, I have this joke in this group of friends, they refer to me as the Pope, and I keep saying that I'm gonna become the Pope. Maybe it'll happen. But I'm thinking about that process. And if you find yourself maybe stuck at a point where you feel that I can't quite get to that next level, I feel this Three of Pentacles here is finding a resource that finding something, a resource that you don't have. And I feel like that only that, or not only, but that comes from others. You know, there's you know, this journey is not something that we're meant to do by ourselves, and that's very clearly depicted in the zodiac too. We have it split in half. You know, when we're from Aries to Virgo, we're focused on self. In Virgo's even that we're starting to get towards that transition into. It's interesting when I'm even thinking about that from Virgo to Libra, and even thinking about that from Pisces into Aries. But Virgo, we're starting to think about other. We're starting to like itself isn't becoming enough. But my point is that there are times where we do have our own resources, our own tools that we're bringing to the mix. My Cancer, Sun, Gemini, Moon, Leo rising, but then maybe for maybe for a certain situation, I may need to hit up a Capricorn, Scorpio, Moon, Gemini rising. That'd be a combo. but I, but it's about, I feel this Queen of Pentacles is not viewing herself. She's not resourceful because she has to ask for help. She's more resourceful because she knows when what she's bringing may not be enough. You know, where it's just like, okay, I have this piece, but in order to get this piece, this other thing moving, I, so yeah, for some here, I feel like there's this need to consider, not need, I don't want to say a need to, but an opportunity to consider working with others in that capacity. And this may even be if we're not talking with someone, maybe even looking at different sources maybe that are going through what you're maybe feeling. Like, okay, I'm feeling a lot of, let's say, depression, and this is not a time to, like, again, if you need to go see someone, I say, I'm all for that. But it's more so like if we're trying to try to figure out where we're at on that. Do we need to or not? Maybe there's first seeing, trying different tools, maybe going on YouTube, going on different things, trying different books, whatever resources that you can find, talking with other people like, hey, I've been kind of feeling a little blue. What are some things that you tend to do when you're going through this? Just to kind of spitball there, Cancer. So but I do also feel one more thing. Speaking of the Hierophant and kind of that trial phase, I do feel that there's this part where we may be at a place where, because the Three of Pentacles can be this card of needing to do some work, but this is quality work that's happening with the Three of Pentacles, and I feel like maybe you've reached a point where maybe you're not understanding what's coming, what things are coming to the mix, but with this two Knight of Coins and a Hierophant, all this Taurus energy, a patience here is coming into the mix, because even as we're moving into Gemini, the dispositor of all that energy is Mercury, who is going through Taurus right now. So things are still in that we're picking it a bit. It's still not quite picked up from Taurus. I feel like we're in that in between, that limbo state right now before things start really kind of maybe getting a bit more social and kind of livelier when we get into the outer planet, having more outer planets in air energy. And so yeah, just something I feel like to just kind of ruminate on there, Cancer. But I think I'll leave that there. But if you like that, Cancer, if anything resonated with you, give it a thumbs up. And share this, Cancer, if you know someone who's been needing to just look deeper into something here. This is a very interesting reading. There's this, especially with this Tower, there's And maybe there's a need to understand, because it's like I'm not getting like a it's not like a, because I mean there's no devil energy, not to say that there doesn't have to be a devil in the mix, and that might be what this tower is, but there's something about understanding like why we're not making a decision, maybe even understanding past like previous decisions. But it's interesting. But share this if you know someone who may resonate with this, and then subscribe there, you chariot. Hit that bell button to get notified on all these videos each time that the moon changes signs. And then last little bit, if you are curious about what's going on in the heavens, come on over to my other channel, Alchemist 8. I do weekly videos there talking about the weekly transits that are going to be going on. This week especially is going to be really, really nice. We have a lot of lovely energies coming up, especially, I would say, between, depending when you're watching this, between now and just like I'd say up until like maybe the 24th. This whole week, it's just like, let this be one where you can make some time to enjoy yourself, to be amongst friends, to be amongst things that make you feel nice and feel lovely, and kind of embody that kind of Taurus energy, because we're in that tail end as we move in. Venus is still there too. It's just because it's really nice, and I'm going to talk about why it's really nice on the next video for sure, and I talk about it a little bit, like half of the stuff on my previous video, so go check that out. But all that housekeeping, Cancer, is down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise cards here. Oh, so I can get you out of here. I know I had to do that the whole reading. Libra's here. You have the Justice card here, Cancer. And, with the Justice card, if we were talking about Libra, I do feel that if we're going through like a tough time right now with the Tower, I feel that there's something here with the Justice card that it's happening for a reason. It's happening, and everything of course happens for a reason, but this feels like a time. I'm just getting the phrase of turning lemons into lemonade, and I know that's cliched, but that's what it's interesting. Not that this is happening, but I'm just thinking with the Justice card, the Hierophant. Let's say we're going through some sort of legal thing right now. Maybe maybe there's some sort of, maybe you just went through a divorce. Maybe you just got whatever the thing may be. Maybe something negative or what seems like it may not be ideal in that moment. But I remember reading something where it's like, this guy got divorced and had to file bankruptcy and all this stuff, and yeah, those are all not ideal things. No one wants to go through that, but it was like you could see that on its head. But when you go a little bit deeper, maybe the marriage was already, the love was, we've been, things had been gone from the mix. We were just kind of existing, whatever that's looking like. The bankruptcy, maybe there was with like a business that you had to go bankruptcy on, but maybe you didn't care about the business. Maybe it sounded like a great idea when we started up the Aries energy, but then you took on two more, and maybe you're just following a trend and found out, oh, I actually don't like that. So there's something here about the cause and effect, like almost like usually almost like kind of like 12th house vibes. That's just like how funny life can be, quote unquote funny life can be in those sort of like, let me get your oracle card, in those sort of like situations. But I feel like that doesn't keep us, don't let that, I feel like, keeping you from starting stuff here with the Justice card as well. Like, don't let that keep you from making more effects. Like, in order for effects to happen, something has to cause them, and in order for change and things to happen, Scorpio energy, something has to be that catalyst, I feel, with the Tower. And so yes, that's interesting. Wow, okay. Yeah, and we did have a lot of Earth energy. Thank you, yourself. So you have the So you have the 14th card, and I bring that up because that's temperance energy, but you have the earth spirit here, which is a card of stability. And, I feel, maybe for some, maybe I could see that, like, that sun with the lovers, that sun tower thing as wanted to maybe put something in a situation, go towards your happiness, go towards the sun, but maybe does it feel stable? Maybe you have to do do a tower. Maybe have to take a hit in order to get to a different level of stability. And maybe that's where the King of Swords, how we sort of started off with the things. Maybe it's like something we're kind of scratching our head on. Maybe it doesn't make, I just scratched my head if you're not watching. But maybe that's something that it just doesn't make sense maybe in that moment. But I feel that most ideas don't make sense. Someone actually just said that to me today. Most things don't make sense. Like it's like when you think about like how am I going to do any of the things that we do? How do I, like it's when you really break it down. So it's like there's something here, even I'm kind of getting like with this going deeper, last little thing. It's like if we look at, last little thing, let me get you out of here. If we look at something on a deeper level, then, see, now the point ran away from me. It just like, it could, I'm just going to leave it there, Cancer. Stay mindful out there, Cancer. Stay present. Sync up with the moon. Always keep mindful where the moon at, and know that whenever you're watching this, you're synced up with the moon. And I will catch you on the next one for the full moon on Jupiter Day.